I'm glad we can take it to Him, find a solace there. I'm glad there's a balm in Gilead. Well, there's some help to be had, and we all need that help. There's no doubt about it. And we can look everywhere under the sun and not get help, but with the Lord, there's always some help and real help, and I thank the Lord for that. Psalm 84. Appreciate Peggy singing this morning. I enjoyed those songs. Psalm 84. We're looking at a psalm that was sung about the people of Israel, God's people, heading from their homes to the temple. Between here and there were trouble. Between their house and the temple, there was desert, there was sand, there was deadness, there was danger. And this psalm speaks of that. In verse 1, it talks about how amiable, that word means love, are thy tabernacles. It's talking about a bunch of people that loved going to church. That'd be good to have today. More of, I know some do, and I'm thankful. But it's always good to have more. But then verse 5 and 6, where my heart's at. Blessed is the man whose strength is in thee, and whose heart are the ways of them. Notice in verse 6. Who passing through the valley of Baca make it a well. The rain also filleth the pools. They go from strength to strength. Every one of them in Zion appeareth before God. In verse 6, he says, who passing through the valley of Baca, make it a well. I want to try and preach this morning on make it a well. The word Baca means weeping. It has the idea of this family going from their homes toward the house of God. Along the way, as I've already said, there's desert, there's dryness, there's deadness, there's danger, and there's just times it just gets to them. Along the way, they finally come to the point to where they say, I don't know if I'm going to go any further. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Heading to the house of God through the desert. Imagine that. But along the way, they come to this, notice, valley of Baca. It's a low place. It's a place of difficulty. It comes to the point to where they finally are just about to give up. They are low, they are suffering, there's no water, they are dry and thirsty, they need help. We can apply this trip to our trip that we're on this morning. If you're saved, you have left the place of sin and you're heading to the house of God, the heavens of heavens. Along the way, there's going to be some dead times, some dry times, some difficult times, some dangerous times. But this verse does not just say, come on now, pick it up. Come on now, be encouraged. Keep smiling. Let go. No, it doesn't just say somehow trudge on. Somehow you can make it. What it does say is keep going. But it says more than that. It says make it a well. Make it a well. Make that place of destitution, that place of dryness, that place of despair, that place of difficulty, make it a place of blessing. Make it a place of rejoicing. Make it a place of refreshment. Make it a place of rest. I say, if we're going to do that, we need some help from God, because you won't do it on your own. You cannot pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. You cannot somehow will your way into real joy or happiness. You cannot put a real smile on your face or in your heart. That comes from God. That is the message this morning. Could I mention first, the people are godly. Look in verse 6. Who passing through? Who? Well, who are we talking about? We're talking about God's people who love God and love His house. Verse 1, amiable means love. They are not just trudging to the house of God. They are not going because they got to. God will get mad at me if I don't. The priest will fuss at me if I don't come. They are going because they love God and they love His house. These are godly people. They are going to the temple. They are going to God's house. They're not heading to the bar. They're not going to town, grouped together, and going to rob a bank. They are going to God's house to get help from Him and see with others God's people. They are good and godly people. And yet it is these people who walk through the valley of tears. It is them that have the difficult times. It is them taking the time to get through this desert, but along the way they have found a place of dryness. They have come to the place that is so dire, so bad, all they can do is weep. They are broken down. And that's the kind of people that I'm seeing hurting today. Now, surely we can go out and find people who have walked away from God and they have suffered the consequences of doing that. We can find people who have cooled off and cooled down and walked away from the house of God, and they are suffering the consequences. But I see today some of God's most godly people, those who love Him, love His book, love His house, and they are suffering. They are the ones weeping. They are facing the difficult times. I'm talking this morning about make it a well. I'm talking about the people are godly. They are willing to suffer the trip that will take miles and maybe even days. They do not have a car. They are not boarding the train. They are either walking or going on a donkey. And they're going through this long, exhaustive trip for one reason. They love God, and they long for His church, and they want to get help that they might walk with Him another day. These people are godly. Notice number 2. Not only the people are godly, but the path is grievous. Verse 6 says, who passing through the valley of Baca. This is a place of tears. It is a low spot. It's in a valley. I'm telling you, between home and the house of God, there's going to be some difficulties. Between here and there, there's going to be some tears. The path is grievous. It's a hard trip. It's a difficult trip. And by the way, I just want to remind you, our path has never been guaranteed to be easy. God never said one time, your way to heaven will be easy. It will be so joyful and so delightful. You'll never have a tear. You'll never have a problem. That's not in the book. That's not what God said. But He did say, be ready for trouble. Don't be surprised about what happens to you, what comes your way, because the path is grievous. Could I remind you, even Jesus was a man of sorrows. He was acquainted with grief. And if the Son of God knew what it was to grieve, so will we. I'm talking about we're in a path that is wonderful. It is delightful. We're heading to a good place. But along the way, we will grieve. We will weep. There will be problems. There will be difficulties. Now, this is a valley. It is not speaking of a specific location. It is not a geographical place or spot on the map. It is just a valley, which indicates it could come up anywhere at any time. So you need to be ready for it. I'm telling you, problems can knock at your door and you didn't see it coming. Trouble can come up in an instant and you didn't know it was on the way. Trouble is on the way. Isn't that encouraging on a Sunday morning? But we need to realize we can get ready for it. I'm talking about the path is grievous. It's grievous because of problems. Imagine all the problems you could endure and experience walking through a desert. Even you by yourself walking through a desert, if you have everything you need, water and food and an umbrella, it's going to be difficult. But these are not individuals. Most of them are families. They have gathered together as a family and they are heading to the house of God through the desert. That means there's little bitty babies and there's old grannies and there's grouchy wives and grumpy husbands. I'm telling you, there's problems on the way. I'm talking about the path is grievous. It's grievous because of problems, and we are in a world full of problems. There are times that you will feel like just sitting down and crying and giving up and forgetting the whole thing. It's a path that's grievous because of problems and also because of people. There's weeping on this path because there's problems on this path. There's weeping on this path because there's people on this path. On this path from their home to the house of God, it's difficult. The terrain is difficult. The sun is difficult. The sand is difficult. But that ain't all. There's people. There's crooks involved who do nothing but lay in wait to rob, to hurt, to kill. And in this path of these godly people, there are these people who do not care about them, do not love them, do not have their best interest in mind. They are there, they are out there to get what they can get from these people. And I'm telling you, you just will find this out if you don't know it already. One of the biggest problems you'll have in this world is people. Whatever the reason, whatever the cause, I won't take time to explain it because you know what I'm talking about. People can drive you crazy. People can cause you problems. People can make you weep. And this day we need to realize sometimes the devil will use people more than anything else to try and bring us down. It's a grievous path. It's them weeping because of problems and because of pity. I thought about this, weeping because of problems and people, but also because of pity. There would be no doubt some of them along the way getting to thinking, I'm telling you what, this is just so hard on me. Well, I don't know if I signed up for this or not. Some of them getting homesick, wanting to go back home. The days are hard and long, and they think about, I got sunburned, and I'm so thirsty, and I'm so tired. I don't deserve this. And they get to wondering and weeping about their self-pity. Oh, woe is me. Nobody has to suffer like I do. There's so many times if we aren't careful, we'll get to throw a pity party because of our suffering and our trials. And by the way, if we do, it's our own fault. We're weeping because it's our fault this time. I'm talking about the path is grievous. Number one, the people are godly. This is God's people who love the Lord. The path is grievous. It's a hard path for everybody. And then number three, the purpose is good. Look in verse 7. They go from strength to strength. Strength to strength. It has the idea of someone going on a journey and getting so worn out and so worn down they have to stop and refresh and revitalize and get strength to go on. They get strength from this point, they go on and they get weary again, they get worn out again, they get thirsty again, they get weak again, they have to stop again and get refreshed again. But they are going from strength to strength. In other words, along the way, there's help to be had. And that's why I want to say this point. There is a goodness involved. The purpose is good. Remember this. In this equation, I have not mentioned one thing yet that is very important. There is a God watching the whole thing. There's a God involved with this trek from their house to the house of God. By the way, He's involved with your life. He's involved with your problems. He's involved with your people. He's involved with your tears. And His purpose is good. He wants to give you the help you need, strength to strength, when you need it the most, when you're the most down, when you're the most weary, when you're weeping the hardest, when you're troubled the worst. He wants to give you that strength and help to keep you going. Oh, listen, I'm talking about there's help to be had. He never wants to hurt you. Do not let your trials get you bitter. Do not let yourself get mad at God because of what you're going through. That can happen. I know people, I think they have experienced that. I think I know some who are still experiencing that. They have let what they face, and it has been hard, and they have wept, rightfully so, but they have gotten bitter. One of my good preacher friends from years ago got bitter. Boy, you could just smell the bitterness in them. I'd go see him, and there's a stench, there's a smell of bitterness. And I still loved them. Oh, we need to be careful. Do not let your trials turn you to bitterness. Don't let them get you hard. He says strength to strength, help to help, well to well, water to water. There is a place of refreshment. There is a place of rejoicement. There is a place of help. And that's what we're talking about this morning. Now, for this well, I'm talking about make it a well. He is not saying rest a minute, settle down, get strength, and trudge on. He is saying at that place where you stop, where you're weeping, get help, real help. Not just you get help, but you make it a well. You make it a place of refreshment. You make it a place of rejoicing. You make it a place where you finally say, oh, I thank the Lord for that. I give Him glory for what He did at that spot. I was down. I was about out. I was gone. But He gave me the help I needed. It became a well. Notice how it's worded. He says to these people, narrow it down. He says to this person, narrow it down. He says to you, narrow it down. He says to me, you make it a well. It is up to me to decide, will my problems make me? Will I rejoice in them? Will I thank the Lord for them? Will I grow in them? Or will I get down and worn out and give up and get mad and get sour and bitter? I am the one that decides about the well of my life, and so are you. So let's look at that. To have this kind of well is going to take weeping. It will take weeping to make this kind of well. Because if you don't get to the point of desperation, if you don't get to the place where you're weeping, the idea is brokenness. The idea of no strength. The idea is down to the bottom and there's no help. I have not stumbled up to a fountain and I can get some help. I have not found a McDonald's and I can get some refreshment. I am in the desert. I am a low spot in the valley and there's nothing but deadness and dryness. There is no help, seemingly. And that's to get the help I'm talking about, we must experience the experience I'm talking about. Because if we don't get low, if we don't get down, if we don't get desperate, we won't want what I'm talking about. And we surely will not do what it takes to get it. I want to say that again. We will not do what it takes to get it if we are not desperate for it. So it will take, it'll take weeping. It takes the brokenness. It takes the problem to get you to where you need and realize you need help. This kind of well takes weeping. It also takes work. We are still in the desert. We are still in sand. We are in a low spot, which means it's hotter and more difficult than anywhere else. And there at that dead, dry spot, he says, make it a well, which means going down further, which means getting on your knees and with your hands or with your staff or some man-made object digging out the sand, digging down. I'm telling you, in the desert, in the sun, when you're already tired, that is work. And to get the kind of help I'm talking about this morning, it's going to take some work. It will not just freely, somehow mysteriously pop into your life and mind. Oh, this is going to take some work. By the way, you are responsible for this part. If you don't work, if you don't dig, there ain't going to be no well. There will be no refreshing. There will be no help. There will be no rejoicing. It takes work, getting down on their knees and digging. Now, I want you to listen closely. And I want you to listen to what I'm saying, because you've heard me say it about 5,000 times. I'm talking about when there's a problem, there's a burden, there's a need, there's weeping in your life, there's something you can't help yourself, can't handle. Get on your knees before God. Shut out the world. Turn off everything around you. You get on your face and you talk to God. You talk to the God who loves you. You talk to the God who puts you in that place for a purpose. You unload to Him and you tell Him, I've told you 1,000 times, you give it to Him. You say, it is yours. You have me here for a reason. You get on your face before God and you talk to Him and tell Him how you feel. Be honest with Him. Be open to Him, because He knows it already. Go to God. And then you get this book out. And you don't just skim through it. You don't just go because you read it every day, because you're going through it in a year. You say, God, I need to hear from you. I need to hear what you've got to say. I am in a dry spot. I'm in a desperate place. I am in a desert and I have no hope. I have no help. I need you to speak to me. I'm telling you, it'll work. And then another thing I'll encourage you to do. You make much of the house of God. They are on the way to the house of God. In this day, it is amazing to me how many people expect God to miraculously help them and take care of every problem they got when they neglect the house of God. God makes the house of God a priority. Think about all that God did that we might have the church today. Think about all that Jesus paid that we might have a church today. If God invests that much, it must mean a lot to Him. And if we think He's going to bless us abundantly when we treat His house like some inconvenience, nonsense, oh, we are wrong. Make much of the house of God. Come to this house longing for God to speak, expecting God to speak, and move. Let Him move in your heart. Now, I want to tell you something. I have just said 2 or 3 things that you've heard me say a lot. And I had to say that to make sure you don't just ignore what I've said, because I say it so much. But you know what? You want to know why I said it? You want to know why I talk about prayer and Bible and church? It's because God says it. We think somehow it's got to be something more magical, more difficult than that. I'm telling you, God said, this is how you get help. He said, if you want help from me, here's how you do it. You get on your knees, you get in this book, and you get to the house of God. That's how he said to do it. I'm talking about this well that we're talking about. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some work, and you are responsible for that work, and so am I, if there's to be a work, if there's going to be a well. It takes weeping. It takes work. And it takes water. They're digging down looking for water. A hole in the ground that leads to water is a well. So it takes weeping. You got to get to the point where you're willing to work, because it's going to take work and it's going to take water. Now the work is our responsibility. The water is his responsibility. Because it don't matter how deep you dig. It doesn't matter how wide you dig. If there ain't no water down there, you ain't making a well. And God is the only one that can put the water there. He is the only one that can touch your heart. He's the only one that can lighten your spirit. He's the only one that can put the joy in your heart. He's the only one that can provide the water. And that's what we must do. Oh, God, I am going to pray. And I'm going to read your Bible, and I'm going to go to church. And I mean, I'm going to be serious about it. But, Lord, you got to touch me. You're the one. You're my only hope. You're the only way I can get the help I need. The well comes when the water comes, and that comes from him. It must be him. We must trust him. Again, God, I'm trusting you. Oh, God, speak to my heart. Oh, God, I need you. Oh, God, strengthen me. Oh, God, help me. If you don't, I have had it. I have no other hope. There's nothing but dryness around me. I'm in the desert. There's no hope. Oh, God, touch my heart. It takes water. Then I thought about this. I'm talking about there's help to be had. There's hope. There's a purpose that is good. This well takes weeping and work and water, but it takes waiting. Because more than likely, digging 6 inches or a foot or 2 feet ain't going to be enough. There's no telling. I rechecked this morning. This will make you real happy. Some of the wells they dug in that day were over 100 feet deep. That makes me want to sit down and rest. But one thing we must realize when we're seeking help from God, and he's the only one that can give us that help we need. He's the only one that can help us make this a well where we can rejoice about it and be refreshed in this dry place and be glad for God's touch in our life. It's going to take time. It won't take a 5-minute prayer. I don't know how long it'll take. It ain't going to take 2 seconds of reading. Don't know how long it's going to take. It's probably going to take more than one service of the church. It's going to probably take some time. And we must be dedicated to the fact that I need help from God, and I will do what it takes as long as it takes to get it. I thought about this, and I'm going to wind it down. That well that was dug where they got water and were refreshed, and their strength was restored, and they went away rejoicing. It helped them at that moment. It helped the digger. It helped the digger's family. It helped the digger's friends that were with them. All those involved right there at that moment when water was found, they all got the benefit. But when they walked off from that well, still heading to the house of God, that well they're leaving behind for someone else. because there's somebody else coming on the same path they have walked. And that person behind them is going through the same dryness, the same valley, the same kind of problems. They have the same needs. They have the same burdens. They're weeping the same tears as the people ahead who left the well. And they find that well and get refreshed. They did not dig this well. It is not their well. It's somebody else's. Now, I want to tell you something. I have experienced that. I'm thinking now of a good preacher friend. Years ago, he faced something. I honestly, even though I know God's grace is sufficient and God helps us, I stand amazed that him and his family made it through. One of the best churches I know of, you couldn't guess if you had to, nowhere around here, not even in this state. But I know some of the things he went through, and I'm telling you, the average person would have given up, would have cursed God and walked off. But this man and his family kept walking with God, kept faithful. They endured what they were going through. It was not the preacher's fault. It was not the preacher's wife's fault. It was something they were forced into. But I called this preacher about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I told him again, I thank you for being faithful for what you've gone through, because right now it is a well to me. Because I need to know that there's help to be had. I need to know in my dry spots there is water, there is help. And I've told him before, thank you for making a well that I can look back and see what you went through and know if you can make it, so can I. And there's people behind you. There's people going through what you're going through or have gone through. They need to see in your life some help, some faithfulness. I hear it with testimonies around here. People who are suffering the most stand up and with smiles on their face that are genuine. They talk about, God has been so good to me. I'm telling you, that's a well that I rejoice in, that I get help from. Make it a well. Not just get through, not just trudge on, but make it a well. It can become a place of blessing. You can say, God, I do not know what you're doing. I do not understand my circumstances, but I know you are good. And I know you love me, and I know you placed me here for a reason, and I also know you are going to give me grace if I will trust you. Lord, help me to trust you and rejoice. You know what Paul said? I rejoice in my infirmities. I take pleasure in my infirmities. I look back and see what God did when I was going through the dry spell, and I find out there's a well there because my good God helped me. When you're going through the worst, make it a well. Get a hold of God. Get a hold of God. Get a hold of God. Get help from Him. Let that place of dryness and desperation and weeping become a place of rejoicing, a place of joy, a place of refreshment. And then you think about later on when you're going through another trial, I remember what God did for me. I remember what God did for others. Make it a well. It's a time of rejoicing, a time of refreshing, a time of resting to go on to the next step on to the house of God for them, to the heaven of heaven for us. Don't give up. I thought about us who are getting older. I was looking through some of my old notes. And in my notes, I was handwriting back then. I put, some of you are getting older here. Talking about you in this church. And I thought, yep, that's me now. And I encouraged them way back then when I was a young person to the older folks exactly what I'll say now. Some of us are getting older. We are not able to do what we used to could do. We're just not able. But we can do what we can do. God is not through with us. And you know what this Bible teaches? For us older folks to teach the younger folks how to walk with God. You know what that is? Digging a well, that they might come and get help because of what we've done, because of what we've said, because of our lives. If we slack off, if we give up, if we stop, there won't be a well. There'll be nobody for them to look at. I'm telling you, in this day, especially the younger, need somebody real to follow, somebody genuine to follow. Don't lay down, don't quit, don't give up now. Wherever you're at in your journey, no matter what age, no matter what problem, don't give up now. Make it a well, to where that place of dryness and deadness and weeping and tears becomes your place of rejoicing, where you say, oh, thank the Lord for what he did for me, and how he showed me he's still God, and how he enabled me, and how he thrilled me, and how he helped me and picked me up and kept me going. Let's all stand together, heads bowed and eyes closed.